Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, the brand new Hyundai Elantra has just got the wraps taken off of it. Gone are the somewhat excitable looks of the old vehicle, which I actually really like. Not to say that this vehicle looks pretty doggone good as well. The vehicle gets not only entirely new sheet metal and entirely new interior, much like its bigger brother, the brand new Sonata, which kind of got more sophisticated styling, sophisticated interior. The Elantra is going down that same route. The vehicle a little bit more grown up now, including a brand new revised rear suspension, a little bit softer, a little bit better handling as well, and the car has lost a fair amount of weight. It's got two brand new power plants, including a 1.4-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, making 128 brake horsepower and 156 pounds-feet of torque. It's also got a 2-liter Atkinson four-cylinder, making 147 brake horsepower and 132 pounds-feet of torque. No word on when this vehicle is going to be hitting dealer showrooms or the pricing as of yet, but if we hear any more, we'll keep you in tune. Next up on the list, Geneva Motor Show is just around the corner, and this, one of the most exciting looking concepts, a brand new Opel GT Concept, will be one of the stars of the show. Now, right off the bat, the vehicle gets a 1.0 liter, yes, you heard me, a 1 liter, 3-cylinder turbocharged unit, making an indeterminate amount of horsepower. But that being said, it is a front-engine rear-wheel drive car that only weighs 2,200 pounds. That front engine is set so far back in the chassis that it's behind the imaginary line in front of the front wheels, which makes it a mid-engine layout. That engine's all aluminum. It's got direct injection. They're talking about it's paired up with the 6-speed sequential gearbox. The vehicle's going to be able to do 0 to 62 in just under 8 seconds with a top speed of 133 miles an hour. Now, there's obviously a lot of questions. Yeah, number one, why doesn't it have any windows? Then the other one is why the front tire is red and the rear tire is black. But I'm assuming we're going to hear a whole lot more coming at the Geneva Motor Show. Next up on the list, Ford took off their wraps, at least in anger. This vehicle turning its first real race laps, the brand new Ford GT race car, as they're trying to go after the win at Le Mans 50 years after the first time they did it this coming June. That being said, its birthing here wasn't what Ford was hoping for. After a very fantastic test runnings and the roar before the 24 Hours of Daytona had a flawless go-round, this vehicle did show some glimmers of brilliance very early. It did take the lead in its class, which was very impressive because it is a stacked class. The fact that this car was the star of the show was hugely impressive, especially when there's a brand new M6 BMW inside the list, brand new 488 Ferrari, a revised Corvette, the brand new 911. This class is stacked. There were Vipers and Aston Martins, tons of great racing equipment. But the Ford GT did have its troubles. One of the vehicles had a software glitch, got it hung up in high gear very early in the race. In fact, only a handful of minutes into the first race. Now, the first running vehicle actually finished 31st overall in the hands of Derek Mueller, Joey Hand, and Sebastian Bourdais. They finished 46 laps off of the pace. That sounds pretty terrible, but there is a class ahead of these guys with much faster racing equipment, so being that far down is not hugely impressive. Those numbers aren't. That being said, the winners inside of this class was a barn burner. A pair of factory Corvettes actually raced to the finish side by side in just a half a car length. Actually did it in for the winner of that particular class. It was a fantastic finish, to say the least, but I tell you what, I'm very impressed with the new GT. I thought that this shot at Le Mans was a pipe dream, that there was no way they were going to have the pace just with a half a season of racing. But I may be wrong about this deal. They may be able to pull off their class win coming up at the 24-Hour Classic in June. Next up on the list, the Barrett-Jackson auction was taking place over this weekend, and one of the stars of this particular program was the brand new Acura NSX. the Barrett-Jackson Group and Honda selling off this vehicle for charity. You get in the shot at the first ever edition of the new NSX. The owner is someone that you probably all know, Mr. Rick Hendrick. Yes, dealership mogul and race-winning and championship-winning NASCAR car owner. Mr. Hendrick paid a cool $1.2 million for this machine, with all of the monies actually going towards the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation and also Camp Southern Ground. So, attaboy to Mr. Rick Hendrick and attaboy to Honda and Acura for this brand new machine being sold at auction. Another vehicle being sold at that particular auction, and we talked about it in the past show, a very special Harley Edition vehicle owned by Mr. Jay Leno. This vehicle too sold for auction, with all the monies going to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. This vehicle fetching a cool $200,000. It was a very special F-150 indeed, with a very special owner, so kudos to Mr. Leno as well for selling this vehicle for charity. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. The link's down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.